Yo, grace and peace. Holler at us, SoundVision Entertainment, Westside Connection, talking to Christian hip hop artists, interview style. At Get SoundVision, holler at us. You know where we at. Got Auditory Fabric with us today though.
ADFB.
ADFB, yes sir. Bondservant, Justword. Cali, Natives.
Cali.
Y'all just came up with an album, Aircraft. Before we get into that, though, I want to ask y'all, how did the group come about? How did y'all come together? It seemed like y'all came out of nowhere.
We've been together for a minute, actually. We did an album together, the Butterfly Effect, CDB Projects, what we were called then. But yeah, just been together for a while, 7 years. It's my dude. We built a relationship, so it just kind of flows like that. And came up with the name Auditory Fabric, and doing it now. Word up, linked up together.
Word up, works. What does Auditory Fabric mean? What does that stand for?
It's in a nutshell, it sounds you can feel. It's us making words visible. But ultimately, the auditory would obviously be the music, but the fabric in the music is Jesus Christ, and that He will be the thread that follows throughout all of our music. So it finds its defining in the Lord and Him being the center of it all, keeping it together and weaving it at the same time. And it's through music, and so we want sounds you can feel. We really want you to be able to experience, experience the Lord in a sense, just through the music and allowing it to move you to worshiping the Lord, or for the non-believer, moving you to beginning to worship the Lord, to understand the Lord. And so there's feeling involved, a lot of feeling involved in music, but these are, so it sounds you can feel in the sense that we're pushing the Lord through it, and He is the fabric of it.
What up? Just banging. The one thing that you bring up an interesting topic, like for me, listening to the music, I have been familiar with y'all individually, corporately, but a lot of people haven't. And what I've always loved is that there's a current sound, right? So the sound is very relevant to right now. You can't, the production, right? You do a lot of the production yourself.
Yeah.
That's very current, and then at the same time you merge a real deep content. So like Christ being at the center of it is dope, but at the same time, like, it's not just Jesus music, it's like lyrical theology that a lot of us have heard from Lamp Mode, to the Shy Lens, the Stephen the Levites, right? Evangel, those guys that really have given us a lot to look at in terms of just contemplate and being able to dive deep. So talk to us about how y'all do that, how you merge lyrical theology with the sound of a social club, really rowdy, Young and Unashamed, 116 type music.
Yeah, it's really, man, just knowing what's current as far as the sound is concerned. Creatively, we want to be current with our music. As far as the content is concerned and the lyrics, like, we come from that, lyrical theology, Lamp Mode, all of them dudes, man, we listen to them. So the content of our music, we always want it to be Bible-based. We always want to be able to teach. We always want to be able to share the gospel. Just preach truth and stuff that people may not understand or know. But as far as creatively, yeah, we just want to be current. Like, we want the music to sound good. Just as much effort as we put into the quality of lyrics, we also do into the creativity of our music. So yeah, it's important to have both.
Yeah, and it's also, in addition to that, it's bridging the gap between. Well, the hope is to bridge the gap between what we hear from our Reach brothers and what we hear from the Lamp Mode crew as well. So we've always wanted to be like this hybrid of the two, where we have current sound, but we also have very creative. We have creative but clear, heavy theology-based stuff. So we're taking what Lamp Mode would put in songs and we're breaking it down in analogies.
Right. Trying to make it our own.
So yeah. So it's really trying to be the hybrid, the bridge that connects the two, because you either have, you had Lamp Mode or Reach, and now there's more on the market now. But our purpose is we strive to be the bridge between the two, where you can wild out because the beat's cool. But at the same time you're getting fed. So while you're wilding out, you'll be driving in your car, wherever, and the content's going to hit you, and you'll be learning, in turn learning, like, deep things of scripture, if you will, meaty things, if you will, doctrine in Scripture, but it's broken down in a way that's easy to. It's on the bottom shelf, basically. So,
because sanctification is still important and edifying the body is still important. That stuff is always going to be important.
Okay, so then in keeping along lines with that, like, talk to us about the creative process. Like, one of the things that we've been asking some of the artists is, like, people want to know, like, hey, are you listening to secular music? Do you listen to it? Some people call it general market, whatever. We talked to Jay Gibbons, and one of the things that he said is, yeah, man, there are people that I appreciate them a lot, but when it comes to vibing to, that's just a little bit different. But at the same time, it does push me to be creative. And I think that, look at the way we dress. We are influenced by our culture in our moral ways, and we redeem that because then people see individuals like themselves and they say, yo, man, what's different about you though? I don't see y'all smoking, drinking, and trying to holler at chicks, right? And so at the same time, like, when you start talking about creating music that's relevant, that sounds good, and so on and so forth, just as much as you study the scriptures, talk to me about how maybe you study the culture or you study other general market artists.
Well, I mean, a lot of the time what we do is I'll hear something. You know, I work, and in my job there's all kinds of people, you know, predominantly non-believers. So I get the opportunity to hear music, or, you know, they'll talk to me about this song, and I'm not oblivious to it. I come from that culture. I actually still like some of the work that goes into music, which is like production. I love engineering, so I'm listening to it from all different aspects, but I'm also a writer too, and so I think it's important for us to, like, dive in, but it's knowing how much to take in and when to pull the plug. But a lot of the time for us, it's like hearing something and whatever's out, whatever's hot, you know what I mean? If we like it, I'll actually send it to him, like, yo, check this joint out. Check, like, literally, I'm telling him, like, look at the way he's spit, look at how he's breathing, look at how he's riding the beat, you know what I mean? Like, or look at the way the engineer dropped the vocals here, and let's try to implement some of that stuff in our music, because people will always there will always be non-believers becoming believers and coming out of this culture, and music does influence and it does minister to people. The Lord uses it to save and to sanctify, because it's putting the gospel in it, and therefore, especially with the Christian hip hop's track record of sounding old, like back in the days, you know what I mean? And so really our purpose is to strive to have a more common common ground with the listeners by providing something that they can identify with off the cuff. Like, this sounds like this, and, you know, and like, but it's Christian, and so, you know.
I think, you know, it's important. Some of us don't get that. Some of us are not there yet. And for those of our brothers and sisters that are not necessarily thinking that that's a healthy thing, I think that what we at the same time try to do is just tell them, like, hey, man, Romans 14, you know. So anyhow, that's one of the things we think about, but I just know you guys do a good job of that. That's why I want to bring it up, because at the same time, you can't front on the fact that I'm hearing eschatology. I'm hearing a lot about sanctification. I hear a whole bunch about Christ, right? And it sounds dope. It's not just like, oh man, these dudes are really studying. But maybe you can talk to us about the studying aspect. You guys Bible study together? Do y'all get together? Like, even in terms of doctrine, like, you guys write a song like Fly High, and we're talking about things that y'all are talking about the same things, very thematic. So I'm just wondering, like, how do y'all do that?
Yeah, it all comes with the concept of what we're trying to articulate. And, you know, when that comes, then we're just coming up with creative ways to articulate these truths in the scriptures. You know, we do it together. I may be at the house, I come up with something, I send it to them, we feed off each other. But at the end of the day, we're both trying to convey the same message. You know, there's content, there's a topic, and so, it just goes like that pretty much, man.
All right, well then, shoot. One of the other things that we could ask about is, it seems like you guys are very dual, talented, God-gifted individuals. Both of y'all, we know for a fact, can rhyme and rhyme really well. But you sing, and you sing real good. When'd you start singing? Is this something that you discovered later on, or talk to us about the singing?
I've been singing. I grew up in the church, the traditional, black church, sung in the choir. Was forced to sing in the choir at a young age. But yeah, I had the gift of singing. I like to do it. As far as hip hop is concerned, Christian hip hop, I kind of lean more towards rhyming. But yeah, trying to incorporate a lot more singing, man. I definitely love singing, just trying to figure out what I want to sound like, basically. But yeah, you'll hear a lot more.
Okay. And then you, on the flip side, you can sing. I know a lot of people don't know that, B. You on the hook.
Yeah,
anyhow,
yeah.
at the same time, your production is through the roof. So
It's right. It's not through the roof.
I believe that
Okay.
a lot of people would appreciate the sound, and that's what has made
dope.
Aircraft. Right? We look at that, and even looking back to Light Generation, Justword, RSVP, people see that, and they don't always know that you're producing it. So, talk to us about that. When did you start producing? What do you prefer? Like, what is that like?
I started producing 2005 actually. That's technically when I started rapping as well. I was in college for graphic design, and it was Christmas break, and my roommate left his Fruity Loops. You know, he left his Fruity Loops joint just there for me to practice on. And so I started producing there, just messing around, and in turn started writing or whatever. That boiled over into me being able to, by God's grace, produce some good sound in terms of my production. And so I was like, okay, I'm producing now well, and now I'm writing a little bit better. I need to record, and so, but I also need to have the beats sounding really good. Like, the beats have to be polished in order to be ready to put out in public. And so I learned engineering because the beats needed to sound good, and I needed to record.
Hold on, so you engineering too?
Yeah, I engineered. I engineered the whole album.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, man, it's the Lord's grace, man. Really, just He's given me the ability to have. He's given me a drive.
I mean, because it sounds good.
It does sound good.
It's okay, man. I enjoy it. I love engineering.
So then, cool. All right. Tell us more about yourselves and where we can get your music. Where can we find y'all online? Give us all that info.
You can find our music on iTunes. You can find it on Google Play, Spotify. It's all digital. Everything's digital. Yeah, those auditoryfabric.bandcamp.com. That's our website. That's not our website, but you can find our music there. We got our website, auditoryfabric.com. So yeah, man, just be looking for us.
And then you guys got individual Twitter handles?
Yeah, all my handles are JustXADFB, and his is BondXADFB. So everywhere there's social life, online, you can find us at those handles. So get at us, holla at us.
We look forward to hearing more from y'all. Appreciate it, man.
Y'all all can get a chance, bruh. See the future, here's a glance, bruh. What I see could come soon enough, so I'm zooming.